Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling something every single homeowner has to deal with, but honestly, nobody really wants to think about: home plumbing. But hey, we're not just looking at this as some tedious weekend chore. No way. We're framing this as a high-stakes, year-round battle against the local environment. Specifically, we're diving into the unique and sometimes pretty brutal conditions in Avon, Indiana, and greater Hendricks County, drawing on some great insights from Keystone Plumbing Indianapolis. By the end of this explainer, you're going to have a comprehensive survival guide to protect your home.
You know the classic nightmare scenario, right? You're fast asleep and suddenly you hear the dreaded sound of rushing water. Next thing you know, you've got a massive middle-of-the-night basement flood. I mean, it never happens at 2 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, does it? It's always at 2 in the morning on a freezing Sunday. Okay, let's dive into this. Because this isn't just bad luck. It's actually a completely predictable result of some pretty intense environmental factors that are constantly testing the limits of your home's infrastructure. So to get you fully prepared, here's our roadmap for today. 1. The local threat. 2. The usual suspects. 3. The rule book. 4. The rescue operation. And 5. The defense strategy. Let's get right into it. Starting with Section 1, the local threat. Avon's unique plumbing challenges. Hendricks County homes actually face a true triple threat. First up, severe temperature swings. Second, there's the heavy clay soil all throughout the greater Avon metro area. That soil shifts dramatically whenever the moisture changes, which puts massive pressure on your underground sewer lines and actually causes these bellies where waste backs up. Gross, right? And third, if you happen to live out on the rural edges of Avon and use a well system, you are battling incredibly hard water. That stuff builds up scale and absolutely chokes your water pressure. It is just a harsh environment for pipes. Let's zoom in on that first threat for a second: the freeze-thaw cycle. What's really interesting about this is how it works mechanically. From December through March, temperatures in Indiana can swing from below 0 to 40 degrees in just a matter of days. So water expands into ice, right? Pushing hard against the pipe walls. Then it thaws out and contracts. This repeated, brutal stress ruthlessly targets vulnerable pipes. We're talking those in exterior walls, cross spaces, and unheated garages until the joints completely fail. Moving on to Section 2, the usual suspects: common household plumbing failures. Looking back a bit, Avon experienced this massive housing boom in the 1990s and early 2000s, especially right near US Highway 36 and County Road 100. Well, fast forward to today, and those original plumbing systems, the supply lines, the sump pumps, they are simply reaching the absolute end of their lifespans right now. We're literally entering this critical window where the original infrastructure is aging out all at once across entire neighborhoods. And speaking of lifespans, I want to draw your attention to this number: 12. 12 years is generally the absolute maximum lifespan for a standard tank water heater. Actually, scratch that, a lot of them fail closer to the 8-year mark. Avon's hard water just leaves behind this sediment that piles up at the bottom of the tank. It ruins efficiency, rusts the whole tank out, and leads to the dreaded cold water sandwich effect. You know that terrible moment in the shower when the water suddenly turns freezing cold before warming up again? Yeah, that's what causes it. So when it is time to replace it, you really have two main options. A traditional tank gives you a lower upfront cost, sure, but it remains totally vulnerable to that sediment buildup. On the flip side, a tankless system requires a higher initial investment, but it frees up space and gives you endless hot water. Local professionals can really help you figure out which upgrade makes the most sense based on the exact condition of your current system and, how much hot water your specific household actually demands. All right, Section 3, the rule book. Understanding the Indiana Plumbing Code. Take backflow prevention, for example. So the crucial point here is that code compliance isn't just some boring bureaucracy. It literally protects your family's health. Without these devices, a sudden drop in municipal water pressure could cause wastewater to get sucked right back into your clean drinking water supply. No way we want that. The code exists specifically to prevent disasters exactly like that. The code governs absolutely everything. Proper venting to keep toxic sewer gases out of your living room. Minimum pipe sizing so you actually get decent pressure when you turn on a faucet. Strict material specs like knowing exactly when to use copper versus flexible PEX piping so it actually resists freezing. But here is the major takeaway. Things like water heaters and repiping legally require permits. Doing unpermitted DIY plumbing work can actually ruin your homeowner's insurance coverage and severely complicate selling your home down the road. Just not worth the risk. Which brings us to Section 4, the rescue operation, navigating the repair process. During an emergency, a professional operation removes all the guesswork. And this brilliantly illustrates how the process should work. First, they dispatch 24/7.
Because let's be real, emergencies do not wait for regular business hours, and they give you a clear arrival window. Second, they diagnose the issue using high-tech camera tools and give you an upfront price before any work even starts. Finally, they execute the repair, test the water flow, and clean up the whole mess. It is systematic and, most importantly, stress-free. Now, when a drain is slow, I know the temptation is to just pour a giant jug of DIY chemicals down it. But those chemicals, they just sit in the pipes, literally corroding them from the inside out, and they fail entirely to clear structural issues like roots or bellies in the main line. Professionals, on the other hand, use hydrojetting and video cameras to safely blast away the blockages without totally destroying your plumbing. As the experts point out, thorough diagnostics are absolutely everything. A slow drain is really just a symptom. The actual root problem might be tree roots infiltrating your sewer line, or you might even need thermal imaging to find hidden water damage behind a wall that's causing a massive drop in pressure. Professionals fix the actual disease, not just the cough. And finally, Section 5, the defense strategy. Preventative home maintenance tips. Okay. Here is your goldmine preventative checklist. Grab a pen if you need to. First, insulate any exposed pipes in your crawl spaces or attics. Second, flush your water heater once a year to get rid of that nasty hard water sediment. Third, and this is absolutely crucial in Indiana, disconnect and drain your outdoor hoses before the first freeze. Fourth, replace your rubber washing machine hoses every 5 years before they burst. And lastly, clean out your faucet aerators every few months to keep your water pressure going strong. Really simple, money-saving steps. I also really want to highlight this very specific number, 55. If you are traveling out of town during an Indiana winter, never, ever set your home's thermostat lower than 55 degrees. That ambient heat is absolutely critical to keeping the water inside your walls and floors from dropping below freezing during those extreme cold snaps. Let's move on and see how this all builds together. Ultimately, preparation is your absolute best defense. You have got to know exactly where your main water shutoff valve is located. Shutting it off immediately is literally the difference between a small puddle and a completely destroyed basement. Couple that knowledge by having a trusted emergency plumber's contact info saved right in your phone year-round, because preparation is everything. So, we've covered the unique environmental threats of clay and cold, the lifespan of your fixtures, the strict code requirements, and exactly how to maintain your systems. I want to leave you with this final, important thought to consider. Is your home's plumbing actually ready for the next freeze? Take those preventative steps today, before the Hendricks County winter strikes. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you next time.